Hello, friends. Welcome to the Thrive Forward podcast. We are doing something fun and different today on our episode. We are sprinkling in a little bit of holiday cheer. We are welcoming my friend and yours, Amy Seeman. She is a local stylist here in the Twin Cities and always has some great ideas on what to wear, what to give, something fun, something sparkly, something simple. And she's going to give us just that. Talking about from your leaving and getting ready for a holiday gathering to what you should bring and who you should give to. So tune into today's episode and make sure to share so we can eliminate some of these things we have to think about and really get back to what it is that's fun about the holiday season. Amy, thank you for joining us on the Thrive Forward podcast. We are so excited to have you, and I'm sure our guests are excited because we're talking about something a little bit more fun on today's episode. So let's talk about how should we be getting ready? It's the holiday season. Everybody's got hopefully some set of kind of normalcy going to either a small gathering or a gala or a holiday party. We're deep in that season. You do such a great job helping people. Where should people be starting from that perspective?
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like one phrase that I've been using a lot lately is where do we go from here? Right. So we just plummeted towards loungewear. Everybody was at home. Everything was canceled to now we're starting to re-enter society. We are more comfortable gathering again. And it's but where do we go from here? I think this is the perfect time to bring out your sparkles. I think bring out the bright colors, bring out the sparkles. Even if you're just going to someone's home, what sparks joy for you? I mean, I'm totally going to steal Marie Kondo's saying, but it is what sparks joy for you. And if wearing something with some shine and some shimmer or some flow, like a satin or a long kimono, wear it. It has been sitting in your closet collecting dust for far too long. It is time to bring it out. There are the bolds. That is me, right? So I have a collection of vintage sequin jackets. I have a long sequin kimono. So I will be wearing that. And I even wore it last year, New Year's Eve up at the cabin with a zip up hoodie and some jeans and my long sequin kimono because it made me feel good. So I say, do what makes you feel good, even if you are just going to someone's home together. So that's my first tip. If you're not quite as bold as me, or I don't do sequins or sparkle, I think just thinking about accessories. So there's some really beautiful headbands out there right now that have some rhinestones, some pearls, the velvet with the big turban knot at the top. Any of those kind of really luxe fabrics or metals, you can take a knit sweater and you can just jazz it up with that. And then I'm now in the more is more camp. I would also do a big sparkly earring with your big sparkly headband.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. And those simple accessories can really just, again, elevate your loungewear or just a knit sweater. I think that's one thing. Textures, if you want to talk more about textures, luxe textures, velvet is really big again. Velvet is always big, right? So some of these things.
Velvet is bringing me back to my middle school days a little bit. Velvet and velour coming back.
Yes, it all comes back. But
I don't think that my cute little red velour tank top that I wore in 8th grade, it would fit me the same now, but I feel like that's on a hanger somewhere in some store.
That will be something that you can pass down to your daughter someday. Some of those pieces, I think.
Moms will get out of a box somewhere.
Yes, they will always be relevant. But velvet is something that will always continue. It's going to have its moment, right? That's why I say sometimes it's going to be more prevalent than others, but it will always continue to come back. And there's also just new modernized iterations of it, right? So the velvet blazers are really in, but now they're kind of more that relaxed boyfriend style or, where it can be wrapped and then belted. But velvet is just such a beautiful luxe texture, but also really comfortable. Vegan leather or faux leather is really big right now. Faux leather blazer that you can put even just over a t-shirt, a graphic tee or a black turtleneck, black jeans, and a black vegan leather blazer, I think is super chic. leather pants we're seeing everywhere, coated denim. So think about if you're not into sparkles, there's a whole world of like luxe things that look really rich and fancy outside of that. And that is in the textures, the leather, the knit sets, the velvet, all of that. Satin, love satin.
You do like such a great job. And this is why I love you, of like full price stuff and resale stuff. So if we're on a budget, or like, what are the things that we should splurge on? And what are the things that maybe we could look at some resale as an opportunity to add to our closet for the holiday season?
Yeah.
And you know me, I love a good budget.
Oh, I was raised as a bargain shopper. So I was raised on TJ Maxx. And one of the things I still like, I love a good deal. But also I think I shopped TJ Maxx and my friends were shopping Abercrombie because I wanted things that were different. I didn't want to wear what everybody else wanted to wear. And I love that hunt for like the hidden gems. And that has stayed with me my whole life. I love thrifting. I love vintage shopping. So like Hunt and Gather in Minneapolis. Oh my gox. Have you been there?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
I have to be in a mood.
It's like in Xerxes. Yeah, you have to dig. It's like Xerxes and 50th. And it's like truly like something out of a storybook, but I walk in, I can spend hours there, but they have so many wonderful vintage outfits and pieces. And that's like a really fun place to go. Right down the street from there is Queenie and Pearl. They have a vintage section upstairs. I found some amazing blazers. Like that's one thing. Plaid blazers that I have found that have shoulder pads, like just straight from the 80s. And I get them a little bit oversized because then I can wrap and belt them, right? Or I just kind of like, I think the oversized fit also looks a little bit more relaxed too, which is kind of the vibe as we're coming out of the pandemic. Everything is a bit more relaxed. So definitely thrifting, Goodwill, Arcs Value Village, Unique Thrift Store, which is in Crystal. I found a lot of great things there. So I love to thrift. I mean, that's where my whole vintage sparkly jacket collection has come from. I also think with the vegan leather, it's at a lower price point and they're really well made right now. Like that, it doesn't look inexpensive. And so I think a pair of, I just bought some paper bag waist, BB Dakota vegan leather pants from Lila Lavender in Maple Grove. They were under $100. But they just look, I mean, even just throw that on with like a black turtleneck and a great pair of pumps, or a mule. Like that's the thing, shoes. Let's talk about shoes.
Yes, please.
You're going
that's
to someone's house, right? So say you're doing Friendsgiving, holiday at someone's house. You're always like, what shoe do I wear? Because the shoe often can make the outfit, but then the minute you walk in, they're like, could you please remove your shoes? Which most of us do, especially with hardwood floors or carpet.
And if we live in Minnesota and there's snow on the ground.
And then you're like, well, there goes my whole outfit. Or like, I didn't get a pedicure because it's winter, or I have a hole in my sock, or I'm just wearing like white athletic socks. And then I have these like vegan leather pants on. So mules, I think like a slip-on mule that has like a little bit of a point, maybe something with like a calf hair, bring those with you, like wear your boots if it's cold, right? Just wear your boots at the house. And when you get there, you can wear them inside because they're not going to scratch the floor. You're not trudging in things from outside. So I think like bring your house shoes with you to the party.
Yes. That's a great idea because you described me perfectly. I would be the person with the athletic socks on.
Probably mismatched too, right? Like just whatever you can find because they never stay together folded.
Well, I am thankful for a very anal retentive husband and the socks are out because he does laundry. Which is also why I'm not allowed to have anything dry cleaning unless I separate it because I'm not the laundry.
Yeah.
But everything's socks have its place.
If my mom does my laundry.
I mean, I love your mom. That's fantastic. When we've, side note, when we went through marriage, counseling or classes before you get married, and they're like, your one problem is going to be laundry. And I was like, oh, well, that's easy enough. You just do it. I don't like it. I don't want to do it. You're anal retentive about it. Yep. Go ahead and do that.
Yes.
Makes me happy.
Yes. I remember when I started therapy last year during the pandemic, as did most of us, right? And I think there should be no stigma around mental health. My 8-year-old son, we also put him in therapy. It was just a really hard year for everybody. And one of the things that I struggled with is my husband, like, is one of those that really thrived during quarantine. Like, he's like, I'm built for this life. Like, he is a man of routine. He is a homebody. I need spontaneity. I need human interaction outside of these walls. And so I was struggling, and he was really picking up a lot of like the slack in the house. Like, he was doing more of the cleaning. He was helping more just like keep the kids on their school schedules. And I'm just like sitting in the hallway as the hall monitor in my room with my laptop, just like miserable, trying to get these kids corralled to like do the work. And so when I was talking to my therapist, I was like, this is me projecting, right? Like, I know that he is a wonderful man and human being. And I am annoyed by this because this is my fault. These are my shortcomings, right? And so like, I project. And she said to me, she's like, you just need to look at it and say, like, are everyone's needs being met? Right? So like, does he mind helping clean the kitchen? Does he mind helping get the kids organized? I'm like, no, he's better at it than I am. And she's like, and are your needs being met because you are taking more time for you right now? Yep. Okay. And that just simple reframing was like, right. It doesn't have to be a certain way.
No.
Very off topic, but I feel like.
No, but I think it's a great like segue into like, okay, now you're leaving the house, right? And you have all of these responsibilities, and traditionally that responsibility of getting everybody ready, getting everybody dressed, everybody having the right outfit on, and was like a to-do, like even holiday family photos, nightmare for me. Absolute nightmare. In fact, the picture came up on my timeline today of 4 years ago, the last time we actually did formal family pictures, because at the time, Savannah, who was almost 7, was 3, and she lost her mind and had to wear these Elsa socks that didn't go with everything else. And I was like, but it doesn't go with what I bought you in this cute bunny jacket that everybody's going to see. And we're going to look like we don't have our shit together. Nobody ever noticed those socks. We were 15 minutes late to a 15-minute express family photo shoot. And our lovely family photographer at the time had a break in between sessions and snapped a bunch of really cute photos of our kids. But when you leave the house, like, there are these traditional segments that we fall into. And when we have had to adjust or change, sometimes that makes us absorb a little guilt.
Yes.
So I feel like that story had perfect placing.
Okay. Oh, good. Yes. And I do think, with the holidays, we, especially as women, we carry so much of responsibility. We do 90%, and I'm not saying in all cases, but in a lot of cases, we do all the Christmas shopping. We do all the gift wrapping. We do all the meal planning. We do all the organizing of the different events that we're going to do. And yes, we're also dressing everybody. I remember, so it's so funny. This came up the other day. Someone said to me when they found out I was a stylist, like, your kids must be impeccably dressed. I was like, no, they're a mess, because I gave up that fight so long ago. So my now 8-year-old, when he was 3, 4, is very temperamental. He has such an issue with clothing unfit. Like, it has to fit perfectly at the ankles, at the waist. It can't be too high. It can't be too low. He does a sit test to like see if you could see the top of his underwear when he would sit down. Even though his shirt would cover it, if he felt like it was low, he couldn't handle it. Buttons, materials, I mean, we would battle. And I finally had to let go of all control. And I thought, okay, I am going to let my children go on this journey of self-exploration to finding out what their style is. And I just have to let go of that control, with the exception of family photos. That is the one time that I have some say, because we used to go, so like holidays, for example, right? You have Thanksgiving, you're going to take pictures. You want everybody to look nice. We would fight over that. Christmas, breakfast with Santa. We do this at Rush Creek every year as a family. And I mean, we would be out the door. I'm nearly in tears. I'm yelling. The kids are crying. You show up, and then all of a sudden you're like, hi, we're here. And it's like, I didn't just scream at you
ever as you're sweating inside.
Right. But I'm like, I realized that like I was taking the joy out of these experiences for my son because I cared far too much about what he wore. So now I'm like, I mean, I almost to the point sometimes I'm like a little bit too relaxed on it. I actually had I had a lecture with them the other day about, I'm like, could you just could you just try to like match? Like that was my big thing. Like, do you see color? Like, are we colorblind? Do we know our colors and what goes together and prints on prints? And I'm like,
spoken like a true stylist mama, because I wouldn't have even noticed it. I mean, my kids come out looking.
No, it's hard for me. It is hard for me because I'm like, oh, I just want you to care a bit more. But the thing that I try to tell them is I'm not trying to project on them what I think, how they need to present themselves. But one thing that I try to say to them is like, you want to feel, when we feel good, we do better, right? Mm-hmm. And I know when they put on something that they feel good, especially my 8-year-old, I mean, he's got some swag to him. He's like, he knows when he feels good. And I'm like, you need to show up for any situation ready to attack the day. So when you're going to school, you need to have your hair combed, your teeth brushed. Even if nobody cares, you are showing your teacher some respect. You're like, I'm here. I'm ready to learn. I'm ready for my day. He plays basketball and I make him do his hair every time. He's like, I'm going to be sweaty. I'm like, I don't care. Watch the Timberwolves. What do the Timberwolves wear before the game? They roll in suits. You know what I mean? Like they are ready to play. So that's kind of been my thing with them lately is like, let's just get ready for our day. And like, how do we want to show up? So I'm hoping that I can instill this in them at a young age,
and they'll manage both things, right? Yeah. Like my girls, I gave up laying out clothes for them a long time ago. Like they were 3 when I gave up.
Yeah.
Because they're very opinionated. Yeah. Shocker. They're smaller versions of me.
We don't want to take that away from them, right? We don't want to take that away from them, but it is hard because it's so fun to dress little kids.
It is. And they just like now the girls are almost 7 and 8 and they're my opinion means nothing. Yeah. And one is more interested in shopping than the other. The other one wants to buy things all the time. She would break my damn bank if I let her shop every day. Yeah. And the other one is like, so not interested. She's like, give me a black pair of leggings and a black shirt. And I'm like, could we put a little splash of color in there? Are you related to me? Black everything. Okay. I mean, no judgment. Makes you feel good, makes you feel good, right? Yeah. But when we, like you mentioned this aspect of we are in what we deem as control in so many different things, right? As women in control or responsibility of all of these things during the holiday. Once you've maybe let go of what everybody's wearing to the holiday party or grandma's house for Christmas, right? What are the next things that you should be thinking about as you arrive at wherever you're going? Is there something that we should be bringing? You know, you and I joked a little bit in pre-recording about hostess gifts. Yeah. I have a husband who worked in the wine business for a long time. So our easy hostess gift was always a bottle of wine.
Which is great. I think that is an easy go-to thing to bring. I like to bring things when someone's hosting because I'm a giver. Like I love to give. I love to find very personalized things or something that I know that they would really enjoy or just like saw and it just like spoke to me. So sometimes what I do is actually like and this can even go like thrifting, right? Like I actually have like a box downstairs with things that I have found as I'm thrifting that I'm like, I'll find a home for this. And occasionally when I'm going somewhere, I'm like, oh, I need something. I'll go in there and be like, what do I have? You know, it can be a really funny, cool mug. It could be a picture frame of something that inspired me or that I think is kind of kitsy and funny. Something that has, you know, like my one friend's last name is Schmidt. And anytime I find anything with Schmidt beer on it, I buy it for her, like just randomly. So things like that, I think, or if there's a theme, you know, I like to buy like ugly Christmas sweater. I found when you're World Market, ugly Christmas sweater koozies. And like, I bought those and it was $5, but it was just something that she could then put in her drink right away and carry around at the party. Wine is something that everybody can enjoy. Even like a nice platter. I mean, Goodwill, I have some of my favorite dishes. They're creepy. They are, I can't remember his name right now. Shoot, I'm missing his name, but it's like this iconic artist, old school artist. And I have all these plates that have and they're just weird, but I love putting them out, especially on Halloween and kind of whatever. Yes. So there's so many holiday like serving ware at Goodwill this time of year that people just like, they're cleaning out the cupboards. Like, I don't need all this. even just getting something like that you're bringing your side dish or your dessert on, that the hostess can then keep. So they don't have to wash and give it back to you.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I love the element of thrifting in this capacity because I think sometimes we can get very caught up in trying to show up with the best thing for somebody. I also love that you make it personalized because then it shows that you're giving thought. I think sometimes we feel like we don't have time or we're rushing. Like I'm the last minute planner because I do so much planning for everyone else all of my life that I don't plan those things when I leave. That doing it throughout the year and having a little space where you go in and take something out so that you can do that so you don't feel rushed in those last minute pieces.
Yep. A couple more things that I just remember that I do that are super easy. So like I love vintage silk scarves. Anytime I find them, I buy them. I have so many, but what I do is I actually use that to wrap around the bottle of wine or to tie on the top, and then they can keep the scarf too. So sometimes it's the packaging of something basic, like the wine that they can reuse and love. Right. The other thing that I do a lot of at Home Goods is they have so many gorgeous cards. And I have a whole bin of them, birthday cards, anniversary cards, just because cards, also Trader Joe's, their 99-cent cards are so good. Sometimes just a handwritten card as a thank you for having us can really go a long way, so it doesn't always have to be a very expensive thing. It can just be something that's really thoughtful.
Or even, I love World Market for their ornaments too. They have some funky, fun ornaments. And so if you're going to a party where you celebrate Christmas, it's a great opportunity to just even do something fun and personalized like that. I give everybody an ornament every year. It's kind of my jam.
I love ornaments. I do. We get the kids a new one every year and I wrap it on their gifts and then they can hang it on the tree after. I think the other thing too is get crafty. Like so many people mastered a skill during quarantine. I mastered late night snacking. That was my skill. I actually was thinking about writing a e-cookbook on how to create some wonderful snacks with what you have in your fridge and your pantry.
I love it. Please.
I got very creative. And so, but think about all these skills that people mastered, use that to make something. Like my 92-year-old grandma Edie loves when the boys make her something. And I think that is like great, like having your kids make something for a hostess, for their grandparents. Cricut, I just got a Cricut this year. A lot of people have Cricut.
I love my Cricut.
I have been making all kinds of glassware, iron-ons. It's just fun. So that's the other thing too, is like get thrifty with it.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, I feel like that should be a tagline for you. Get thrifty with it.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a segment that we're working on. So as we so now we've covered the hostess and we're kind of transitioning into that space where we talked about, grandparents and getting crafty and those types of things. You and I also talked about like those experiences. As we have come out of quarantine, we've all really realized that maybe we don't need as many things.
Yes.
So how do we give more of those experiences and lasting impressions to people or memories?
Yes. Oh, this is so big. I just wrote an article recently that's going to be coming out, Mistletoes and Memories in the Maple Grove, Osceola area, on when you're thinking about gifts this year, think about things that are either time spent or time saved. Because I think that we miss so much time with the people that we love. So creating memories, experiences that you can share together. Yellow Tree is a theater in Osseo and it's super cute. It's very intimate, but you can get like a membership for the year there. It's very affordable. Grandparents for your grandkids, what a wonderful way to have a recurring date on your calendar to spend time with them. If you get the whole package, or you can just do it one time. So children's theater, Stages theater, I think any theaters right now are an amazing gift to give because it's time you can go do it together. And
you are giving the parents a break from the children.
Yes. Well, that's another thing too, is like just making a little like coupon of like, I will watch your kids. So I think about my neighborhood. I live in an amazing neighborhood. These are my people. I survived 2021 because of these people. One of the things is like, not all of them have family close by like I do, right? That can come grab the kids at any given time. So one of them just had a baby, and for her shower, we all chipped in and we're like, good for one free night of babysitting so you and your husband can go out. So think about that with your friend group too, like swapping kids, doing sleepovers, things like that, that they need, right?
Mm-hmm.
I also think for, the other thing to think about is like, in terms of just giving back to kids in their sports activities. As my kids are getting older, I am learning how expensive it is to have children in sports and multiple sports. So do you have a family that you can sponsor for hockey and pay for some of their equipment? Or can you help somebody with carpooling? I mean, sometimes it's like with this one going this way and this one going this way, if someone's like, I'm going to do all your carpooling for a month. I mean, that's a grandparent thing too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So looking at ways that you can help them, the children continue to do the things that they love and take some of that financial burden and just the stress of managing calendars off their plate for the parents.
Yes, I think that's so huge. And I think oftentimes we think of experiences having to be like more even extravagant, right? Like a trip or something like that. And it doesn't have to be that. I think
there's so many wonderful things around here in Minneapolis to do. Minnesota Play Cafe is newer at the Shops of Arbor Lakes, getting a membership to that. I mean, my kids don't need anything. Like they play on their iPads, they play outside, they dance, they play sports. And that is like, they read. And that is like it. So when everybody's like, what do they want? I'm like, more things to do, go to Color Me Mine and paint with them, get them a membership to Sky Zone, all of that stuff, all of these businesses that really couldn't operate during the last year. That's also a wonderful way to give back to our community, is looking for what are these things that we can do, like get the kids out and moving and, children's museums, all of that.
That's awesome. I, like in terms of Color Me Mine, I also have a girlfriend, who is starting a place in Northeast Minneapolis that is doing something very similar, but it's art kits. And so you can buy, art kits to mail home, or you could buy a painting class and do that. I think that those experiences are so great. Or mom's night out, like send the dads with the kids to one house, and you have all the moms over to another house, and you have a night out, or you swap and the dads go out and the moms stay in with the kids, whatever it might be. I think just reimagining and getting creative is such a great place to be.
Yeah. And I think when it comes to like time saved as well, think about your friends who are just so strapped thin right now. Maybe they need a Shipt membership for the year, so they don't have to pay for the delivery fee every time they have groceries delivered, right? Or a new mom that could use that. Someone who's going through a divorce. A lot of marriages didn't survive this last year. How can you help them? A cleaning lady, send over someone, or cleaning company, send over someone to clean their house for them. I mean, those are things that just like when you walk in, home organizer, I use Holly & Co. She's wonderful. Having someone come and just organize your space and do it for you. I mean, those are things that really can make a difference in someone's mental health this year.
Absolutely. Outside the box. It's better than one more trinket or thing that we could be loading the plastic ethros of the world into. I think about it in so many different ways, right? We're saving a lot of junk, which saves a lot of different other things from a planet standpoint too.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like my house, I think everybody, as you've been home and you're just staring at the walls and you start going down this path of like, what are all the remodels I want to do in the projects? I tell my husband, I'm like, I feel buried alive. Like there were times where like I would text him, I'm like, I am in burn the house down mode and start over, because I feel buried alive by the amount of stuff. Like how did we accumulate so much stuff over time? And I think we want that instant gratification for our children, right? Like we want to like come home from a trip and I'm always like, oh, I brought you a little something. Well, it usually ends up in the garbage, right? Or it just gets thrown into the corner and they don't play with it anymore. So yeah, I'm kind of beyond the stuff right now, unless it's something really useful or challenges a brain or something we can do together. So couple gifts that we've gotten recently as a family that we love. So we got a Swerfer. Have you heard of a Swerfer?
I have not. What is a Swerfer?
It is like a surfboard, but it is on rope and you attach it. We have ours attached underneath our deck, but you can also hang it from a tree. And it goes this way. It can go around like this. We got it at Gray Duck at the Shops of Arbor Lakes, which is one of my favorite places to shop for children's toys, because one, they're local, and two, like the men that work there are so knowledgeable. Every time I come in, they showed me what a Simple Dimple Poppet was last year when I was doing, I was curating some stocking stuffer gift guides. And I was like, what do you mean? You just like push these little things back and forth. And they're like, yeah, kids love them. And now it is like all
the biggest thing ever.
All the rage. So they're really knowledgeable on, you know, different ages and what kids really like. But I got it from them. The thing is like, it can hold, like I can get on it. Right. So when our neighbors come over, I mean, all kids of all ages have loved that Swiffer. So something like that, right? It's a little bit more expensive. I think it's like around $150. That's one. And then the other is we have this portable projector that we take. It's like this big. We take this with us to our hotel rooms because the kids love when we put it on the wall and we like, we'll pull the couch out or the bed out and they can watch it big. We did a birthday party for my son in the garage with sheets. And then I got everybody as their gift, which we talked about, right? The gifts for the kids that attend the birthday parties. Those like inflatable bed things that you like get the wind in and then you wrap it up and whatever. And we put those out in the garage and they watch the movie there. We've done garage movies this fall outside. So that's something that like everybody can do together. It's a little bit more, I think it's around $300-400, but it's an experience that we can share together. That's like a family gift. So sometimes getting
and use over and over and over again.
Sometimes instead of getting all these things that they can unwrap, getting, you know, one or two bigger ticket items that everybody can share and enjoy together.
I think that's great. Are there any other things as we go into the holiday season? So we talked about like what to wear, where to shop for some of those things, some statement pieces, what to give your hostess, what to give your family, anything else that you can think of that we should be sharing with the audience as we get ready for all of the holiday stuff in 2021?
Oh, you know, I think really, I think, and this comes from me being a fashion stylist, right? And being part of my job, we often put ourselves last in terms of what we are going to wear and how we want to show up. And when we feel good, we do better, right? And there is nothing worse than when you're running late out the door and you don't know what you're going to wear and you show up and you feel out of place or you feel insecure, you feel, I wish I would have taken time to actually curl my hair or put on some makeup. So start with mom's look, especially when it comes to family photos too. I always start with mom and I build everybody else around her, because if you are shopping yourself for your family, most everybody will start with the kids and then try to find something. I go the opposite way because mom is the heart of the family. And I think it's so important that we feel good. So start to think about, what do you have coming up? What are you going to wear? Because that will alleviate so much more stress for you. And also think about things you can wear more than once. So you don't need a new outfit for every event you have coming up. You could buy one. There's this beautiful kind of burgundy faux leather pleated skirt at Bean & Row in Edina that you could wear with a knit sweater. If you were going somewhere a little bit more casual, you could put on a beautiful blouse with it. You could put on a blazer. You could put on a sequin top. You could wear that skirt to 2 or 3 different parties, just style it differently. So if you're going to invest, like we talked about, if you're going to invest, even if it's in a blazer, maybe you buy a velvet blazer this year or a beautiful plaid blazer. You could wear it with a skirt. You could wear it with trousers. You could wear it with jeans and a hoodie. So thinking about that one investment piece that you can wear multiple different occasions, and that will alleviate a lot of stress for you.
That's awesome. Amy, if people are interested in working more closely with you, maybe they don't have time to do all of the shopping or plan all of the things, could you share with us where to hang out with you, how people could utilize your services, what that might look like?
Yes. So I show up more frequently on my Instagram, which is at Mama Seeman. The adventures are in the stories, I will say. So you can follow me there. And then there are links out to my website, which is just amyseeman.com. And there's a link in there to reach out to schedule an appointment with me. I do wardrobe editing, both virtually and in person. So I can come into your closet and help you put outfits together using what you already own, and then really intentionally deciding maybe there's 1 or 2 things that can fill some gaps for you. I also do personal shopping. I have a space at the Shops of Arbor Lakes in Maple Grove where I can bring in pieces from different boutiques all across the metro into one place. You can try it on, buy right from there. You can be in and out the door in 2 hours or less with almost a whole new wardrobe if you need. And then I do some vacation packing too. So if you're traveling, that's another thing. I do editorial shooting. So for brands, if you work for an organization and you're doing some brand photo shoots for the holidays. I do styling for that as well. I do headshots, kind of one-off speaking engagements. So all of the things. But yeah, if you just go to amyseeman.com and you can send me an email from there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today and energy you took preparing everything for us to chat about. We appreciate you. And you guys, Amy is incredibly talented. She has great style and she's freaking hilarious. So she was not lying when she said the stories are wonderful and she will be relatable and real and all of the things. So thank you so much for spending time with us.
Well, thank you for having me. This was really fun.